It's your favorite Compas, and this is our season 3 premiere episode. We're back and better than ever as we start another season of Compas on the Beat. Season 3 is here, and we have a lot of things coming up this season for you guys. But first, let's get started with episode 1. On this episode, we have the Scouting Combine recap, plus we get into some NFL free agency and the draft. This is going to be a crazy time right now. We're excited for it. We'll certainly discuss other NFL topics on this episode. And that reminds me, Gilberto, don't you have a question for our listeners?
Yes, Fernando. First of all, I love the energy, and I like the listeners and viewers to bring the energy. So I have something for the people.
Bring the noise. Dun, 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 dun,
Millions of people who support Compas on the Beat, right?
In front of the millions.
That was trying to do that. But yes, engagement question of the week. And again, if you're on the audio, get to YouTube and comment or find a way to reach out to me somehow, please. We care about you, audio people. But yes, the engagement question is, there's a big signing for the quarterbacks. Derek Carr, the first domino to fall of the QB carousel. I remember the name carousel on Perfect Match, Fernando. QB carousel, Derek Carr to the Saints. It got me thinking. I even wrote a story about it. Derek Carr and the Saints in New Orleans. How many wins for Derek Carr and the Saints in 2023? Give me that in the comments.
Saints come marching in. Oh, when the Saints come marching in. Let's go to a guy who was a Saint. Dan and Daygo, take it away.
Whoa. I know what you're thinking. You recognize this handsome son of a gun wearing some stunner shades and the cowboy hat. And then you notice, look at that right there. What is that? Got some Compas merch? You are not going to want to miss out on these things. We got awesome hats. We got hoodies. We got t-shirts. We're working on some stickers. Got some stickers for them laptops. Great conversation starter. That's all I'm saying. They're going to be like, what's that Compas on the Beat sticker? Then that is your perfect opportunity to be a Compa, tell a Compa. It is what it is. You already know what day it is. It is Wednesday. It is not only hump day, but it is a day your favorite program drops a new episode. Compas on the Beat. We got it all here. We're going to be talking about not only Gilberto has a little surprise for you about this nice little Compas merch happening over here. He'll talk to you about that later. We also have stories from that stooge, that scumbag, Gilberto, and his time on the booze cruise in Indy, seeing who he talked to, what he saw. It's going to be wild. It's always interesting, that stuff. We are also going to get into your NFL free agency stuff, scenarios. A few dominoes started falling. Were they really dominoes, or were they little itty bitty things? But we'll see. It's up to you to decide. We all make great points, except that stooge. Don't you forget it. That's not ground conceded. I am still on the offensive like always. Anyway, do not forget to be a Compa, tell a Compa. We are at 800 subscribers, a little bit past it. Thank you all. We appreciate you so much. Help us get to 1,000 by being a Compa, tell a Compa. But anyway, it's time to get to the best damn program in all the universe. From all the way across the hallway. Play the music, Nando!
Welcome to the season premiere of Compas on the Beat. I'm Fernando Ramirez. I cover the Chargers for the Sporting Tribune. With me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Gilbert Manzano. He covers the NFL for Sports Illustrated. What's up, bro?
What's up, Fernando? Here we are, season 3 of Compas on the Beat. Man, those 2 years went by very quickly, but we've grown. We've spread our wings. We've become.
By the way, guess what I found over the weekend? I was going through my pictures. I know I interrupted you, and I'm sorry about that. But I found a tweet where I ask, I say, to hashtag Charger fans, Gilbert Manzano and I will be continuing our monthly podcast. We want you guys to pick the name. Who has the best one? Drop them below. It was a tweet that I was going to send out. And I don't know, it was on February 5th, 2021. Obviously, we didn't start this till March, but we were going to still do that monthly episode thing. So that was pretty cool to see, for it to pop up on my phone this weekend. But now season 3 is upon us.
There you go. And yeah, I'm glad we didn't have a meeting of getting names because it'd probably be a mess. I wonder what names we would have gotten, like 2 Mexicans and a beat, or
I don't know. I think people would have like tried to get us to like keep us on Chargers related, and we kind of were able to do more and jump out and do more. So obviously now we've kind of put our heads together on what we wanted to do, which is obviously I like WWE. I've been interested for years. You're boxing, UFC, different sports, and really that's how we've been able to kind of grow the network as well.
Yeah, that reminds me of our first logo. We try to incorporate a ring into it because we like football and we like combat sports, and it was just a mess. But here we are.
Hey, you know what's funny? Dan and Daygo still has the original shirt that that we made. So it's definitely
we got a nice layout here. Have you seen What's Up Bolts too? Good layout. So shout out to Victor.
Yeah, no. That's what I was telling. That's what I was telling him too. I was telling Dan, like, literally for like 5 minutes, Dan and I were like looking around. We're like, oh, look at these new digs. I'm like, dang.
You're renting out the studio on StreamYard or something.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, hey, I like this. So obviously, shout out to Vic, and literally we did at the beginning of the episode and at the end of the episode, we're like, dude, these new digs, I'm telling you, this is fire. So definitely some cool stuff happening. We're doing a lot. But Gilbert, how was the combine?
It was good. You know, it was a very short trip for your boy. I was there, I guess, 2 nights, 3 days, and I think that's enough for me, right? Like I think last year, what did we go? Like 5,
4
6,
or 5
7
days.
It was really long. So the first day, it was fun. You know, you kind of mingle. You go out to the bars. You have a nice meal.
You're like a sardine everywhere.
Yeah. You're like, yeah. Actually, you know, I was wearing the Compas hoodie, by the way.
Okay.
And then I was wearing like another jacket over because you know I get cold.
Was it cold?
And it wasn't that bad. Like LA for some reason was colder than Indy, but still, I was like, I'm not gonna take any chances. We're gonna be walking at night, so I'm in these really hot bars in this big old jacket. And like I think like 3 people came up to him like, "Hey, aren't you hot in that?" And I'm like, "Leave me alone. I'm from LA. Don't bother me." But yeah, I was hot in the big.
Yeah, at least people were considering. They're like, "Hey, aren't you hot?"
You guys probably sweating in there. But also too, like it gave me a chance to say, you know what, when I'm wearing a hoodie like this, you know, I got to promote the brand. But first, it was cool. But Fernando, the second day, I had to wake up early for all the interviews. I think it was like 8 a.m. and I was rushing, and I got to the back end of Will Anderson's interview, which was cool. And then you get to talk to all the defensive linemen. And then the whole Jalen Carter thing broke out, and we're all
that was interesting.
We were all there waiting for him to talk, and we all checked our phones at the same time. Like Jalen Carter, we're like, he's not gonna show up. But that second day, you know, to kind of summarize my story, I was done. So the first day was good, fun, and then second day, nope. I'm not really going out tonight. I'm just gonna have my food and call it a day. And then I couldn't wait to get the heck out of there by Thursday. So I think 3 days is good for me. Overall, it was a good time. You know, just meeting new people, saying hi to old people, and then just getting to know the new players that they're gonna enter the NFL. So it was a good experience.
Yeah, I saw that your Will Anderson video did or no, not Will Anderson. No,
yeah, right? Yeah, it's his name. Yeah, from
Alabama. Yeah, that it did really well. Asking him about Bryce Young. That was and honestly, it feels like every year the quarterbacks are the main topic. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, who did well, who didn't. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about the different guys, the different players that are out there. So definitely interesting. With me, I just kind of wrote some stuff, getting some stuff together for free agency. Obviously, wanted to send a quick shout out to Alexa Grazo, Yair Rodriguez, and Brandon Moreno.
Wow, I never seen those Marios.
UFC champions. Alexa wanted over the weekend.
Three.
Exactly. Hey, who would have known that these guys that there'd be 3 right now? So it's definitely Ciudad Juarez, Tijuana, and Guadalajara represented.
Oh wow.
So definitely, yeah, Alexa's from Guadalajara. So definitely cool to see all three represented.
By the way, follow us on TikTok because that video did pretty well.
Alexa. And you know what's funny is Alexa, obviously, what's her name, hadn't lost since 2017. So she had the championship for a long time. It's funny
to beat Shevchenko like that, man. Like you know,
the way she beat her.
Somebody tweeted. Did you see that tweet? Somebody from the Athletic, the reporter there, I forgot his name, said that if Shevchenko loses to Alexa, he will get a tattoo of a
Oh yeah, I saw that.
So
I wonder what tattoo
he's getting a tattoo.
He should have. Alexa should choose the tattoo that he's gonna get, because that was a good man. But I told, like, Dan's like, what happened? Because we were driving home, and he's like, what happened? I'm like, dude, Alexa just like literally jumped on her back like a spider monkey, brought her down, and was able to choke her out. I'm like, dude, it's incredible what she was able to do. And then he's like, oh, so when we got home, he was able to watch the replay. He's like, whoa, that move was crazy. And then she even said it in training. I had practice for her to miss and me jump on her back and bring her down. I was like, wow, I was so impressed with her. So hopefully this isn't a one-off, because I know that they want the rematch already, but hopefully she can keep it. But congratulations to all three UFC and hopefully Mexican champions, and hopefully this is only the beginning. Because I think Mexico's on the rise when it comes to some of these fighters. Hey, if you can't do it in boxing, come over to UFC and do it there. So definitely on the rise. So I just wanted to shout out those guys. And definitely awesome to see. But Gilbert, before we get to our next topic, isn't there something you wanna tell our listeners? Something you got a surprise for them, don't you?
Yes, Fernando. Before we get into some car talk here, I could do it real quick. Hoodies here. If you want one, I got more. I'm trying to find the logo here because, by
right
the way,
there on your right hand.
It was steel from Dan and Daygo. It's a very soft, keeps you warm. And again, I was at Indy and I was cold, and this hoodie kept me warm. But yeah, I reloaded. People have been asking me, Fernando, they want a hoodie. That website's coming along. I think I'm gonna call it compasonthebbeat.shop.com. Not yet. Don't check, but it's coming. The merch is gonna come soon. So, but I want to do a giveaway. I have different sizes now, and we got to 800 subscribers here on YouTube. So to get to 900, a little promotion here. Just comment under this video. You can say Compas hoodie. You can say shout out, what's up, bro, whatever. Just comment on the video. Do some engagement. I will track you. I will enter you for this contest here for the hoodie giveaway. One more request. Just be a compa. Tell a compa about Compas on the Beat. Help us get to 900 subscribers. We get to 1,000, even better. But the faster we get to 1,000, it will help us out in so many ways. So in return, also for saying thank you for 800 subscribers, I'm doing a hoodie giveaway. How about that?
We appreciate you guys, and obviously this is our way of kind of saying thank you for keeping up with us and getting us up there with subscribers. So thank you guys so much. Season 3, we couldn't have done it without you guys. I mean, obviously, the work that Gilbert and I and the rest of the crew, the work that we do is for you guys. So we definitely appreciate you guys rocking with us, and hopefully that 900 will be done by next week so that we can give the hoodie away by next show. So that would definitely be awesome, especially because next week, guys, is going to be madness. It already started on Monday, but obviously next week it's going to be Compas on the Beat, House of Horns, What's Up, Bolts, Tiffany, probably a lot of different things happening. But Gilbert, you said it, Derek Carr signs a new contract with the New Orleans Saints. He goes and signs with New Orleans. I know he had meetings while he was in Indy, and then Geno Smith is back with the Seattle Seahawks. So what are your thoughts on this? I mean, you can start with Derek Carr first. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Fernando, there's a couple things here. And again, to plug a story on SI, I wrote about it, Derek Carr going to the Saints. And the first thought I had was like, cool, like you got a nice quarterback. I don't know if he's like a really excellent quarterback. I want to say, you know what, he's an above average quarterback. He's definitely in that range, but I don't know he's a quarterback going to change your franchise fortunes or win your Super Bowl. And then when you pair that with the roster that the Saints have and their messy salary cap, I'm like, okay, there's 2 reasons. And what I wrote, like, you always want to be competitive. You're a passionate fan base like the Saints. You want to win for that group. Like you do it with the Steelers win for in Pittsburgh, the Ravens win in Baltimore. All these teams that have just a history of being competitive, but those teams have Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh.
What
exactly? Dennis Allen, a little unproven. It didn't work out in Oakland, and then like you got the issues with Alvin Kamara. Michael Thomas cannot stay healthy. Who knows he's going to even be on the roster? Like it could be Derek Carr just throwing a bunch of passes to Chris Olave. That'd be nice, right, for fantasy football. And then you have an easy division. You could win the NFC South, but once you get to the wild card, you lose. Is this all worth it for the salary cap disaster that you created because you refuse to retool after Drew Brees retired. Sean Payton left for a reason, Fernando. Like he knew what was coming.
Yeah.
And this team refuses to get away from like the Rams mentality where they think they're going to be all in. And the way I wrote it was like they avoid the debt because they haven't won the Super Bowl since 2009. Like the Rams could be like, you know what? We did our job. We won the Super Bowl. Time to pay the debt. The Saints won't do it. And that to me is like, all right, cool. You want to be competitive. And you never know, Fernando, because sometimes you say competitive, you could ascend very, very quickly. Like the Eagles, who saw the Eagles rise this quickly because they wanted to be competitive? I guess you did. There you go. I'll give you credit. But then how about I shift it to you now? Do you see some kind of quick rise for the Saints with Derek Carr? Because I don't.
They would have to restructure contracts. That's the thing that Mickey Loomis is actually pretty good at kind of bringing guys back. But the thing is, Marshawn Lattimore, he's been injured. You have Tyrann Mathieu, didn't play as well as he did when he was with the Kansas City. Exactly. Like you said, Michael Thomas. Man, Michael Thomas a couple of years ago was regarded as, oh, he's the next big thing. He's the next Julio Jones. And he's fallen off. He's gotten injured. He's done some weirdo stuff. And so I just don't know if he's going to I don't think he's going to be there. I really don't. I think he's a cap casualty. They're probably going to cut him. Will he be picked up by someone? That's going to be another thing that we don't. I mean, look at Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon's playing in the XFL. Like, and shout out to him, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns over the weekend.
How do you know that?
I saw it on Twitter. By the way, I think it was a New Orleans Saints beat reporter goes, congratulations to the Saints. They just got the Andy Dalton of the AFC. He's like, why not just stick with what you already had? I'm like, oh wow.
Andy Dalton, the original Andy Dalton, by the way. Don't get
exactly. So yeah, the Red Rifle. But definitely I just don't know if Mickey Loomis can keep this and keep it down a little bit and then able to go get more weapons for Derek Carr. They might be able to, like you said, the wild card. Yeah. I just don't know if they can make it past that. But, I mean, the NFC is a little bit weak, so maybe they could make it a little bit past it, but I just don't see them making that huge strides. No, but I mean, like you said, Derek Carr is a serviceable quarterback, and he might be able to do a little something.
But let's be real. I get it that every year the NFL changes, and Victor Victor producer tells that every single year it gets different. But like, do you see him beating the 49ers or the Eagles or even a team like the Cowboys? I don't
see.
know.
I want to see what happens with the Eagles with all the 20 free agents that they have. But no, as of right now, I can't see them beating either one of those teams unless it's in New Orleans and it's loud and it's one of those like where the noise kind of got to them, the atmosphere, everything. But I don't see it. I don't see them as a top team, but I see them winning their division, which I mean,
let me ask you this because I wrote a different alternative. Like, what if they would have gotten like a Jacoby Brissett who did decent when Deshaun Watson was gone with the Browns, and then you draft a rookie quarterback like Cooker from Tennessee? Wouldn't that be a better route there? You fix your salary cap and you're still somewhat competitive, or am I off there? I don't know.
Well, I mean, the thing is that now that there's another thing. Do you trust your offense to be able to develop I mean, obviously you have them there, but can they develop a young quarterback? When's the last time that they developed a young quarterback in New Orleans? It's been years. It's been years since years my behind. They got Drew Brees from San Diego. They've never really had to develop a young quarterback. Taysom Hill was a gadget weapon. So, by the way, did you see that stat today? Taysom Hill has made as much money in his career as Lamar Jackson has in his career. So I saw that stat. That was really interesting. But definitely, I just don't see it. I'm with you in that sense, but it's just. I don't know. I don't think they can develop a young quarterback, and I feel like that's kind of the thing. But then, why'd you keep Dennis Allen then if you feel like this coaching staff couldn't develop him? So
he was on the hot seat last year.
Exactly. And now you give him a brand new quarterback. What if it doesn't work out? Like, what are you going to do next year? Like, you're gonna have to fire him. You're gonna have to bring in a whole new coach. I just don't know. This is really puzzling for me. I thought a team like New York may do it, but I guess New York is just waiting to see what happens with Aaron Rodgers.
And Fernando, I'll give you a transition here. Like there's I get it. You want to be competitive and you want to owe it to your fans, like your passionate fans, but like there's different ways to it. And one example, the Seahawks. They traded Russell Wilson. They got a bunch of draft picks. They fixed their salary cap, and surprise, surprise, Geno Smith is actually decent. Like that's a different way. The Saints don't have a healthy salary cap. The Seahawks do. But now they're paying Geno Smith, and I guess we could go into that if you want.
But my question, okay, so there has to be an out, right? Like maybe after 2 years.
I think it's 2 years.
Okay,
so if still you're committing $70 million in 2 years to
Car. Did you see how much he's gonna make this year?
Is it like? Oh yeah, he has like bonus or Geno.
million.
Yeah,
Geno's gonna make $52 million.
Derek Carr's making 60. Gets the signing bonus.
Are you serious? My God! Wow. That is That's incredible. That's a lot of money to be thrown around.
And Fernando, people laugh at me for saying that Daniel Jones is dumb for asking $45
million. That's why I didn't laugh. That's why I didn't laugh, because I knew that's gonna end up happening, and that's what ends up happening with these. Yeah, so I don't blame you for writing that. I saw when you wrote it. I saw some of the comments, but I'm like, dude, that's the way we're leaning right now. That's the way the NFL is going. They're overpaying quarterbacks who haven't won a playoff game or who haven't done this or who haven't done that. So that's just the way it's going to go. But with Geno Smith, I'm just interested to see, because I think New Orleans or Seattle could end up drafting a young quarterback, letting him learn behind Geno, and then in a year or two, or hell, even this year, if something happens with Geno, that young quarterback may have to go in. But I'm definitely interested to see how this is going to play out with Geno, because Geno to me is the interesting. His situation is the interesting one to me.
It's tough for now with Geno and the Seahawks, because like, let me ask you the same question. It's kind of like with Derek Carr. Like, do you see Geno Smith and the Seahawks making noise? I think they can make more noise.
I think they make more noise in New Orleans.
Like, but can you mean New Orleans can make more noise than the Seahawks?
No, I think the Seahawks can make more noise than New Orleans.
But like, is it like, will it get you over the top? Will it get you to the Super Bowl? Like, it's kind of like mixed. And then like, if you're trying to like build the roster and you're at number 5 and you're trying to field a good competitive team because you want to draft well, and you're thinking, okay, we could wait for the long-term quarterback. When are you going to be top 5 again in the draft? You're trying to avoid being top 5. This could be the year to finally get one and let a guy like Anthony Richardson, that's my guy already. I fell in love with that guy. He's a compa. And you let him develop for a year or two, and then see what happens with Geno. But then again, it's like Pete Carroll's older. He wants to win now. Pete Carroll really believes in his guy. So I don't know. We'll see. But I just feel like when you're top 5 and you get an opportunity to get that long-term quarterback, you got to at least be thinking about it. But Geno Smith, shout out to that guy. People forgot about him, and he got paid.
I completely agree with you. Unless they're going to go the Dan and Daygo route, and they're just going to build up because they've already done a good job of building their offensive line. They've got the right tackle, the left tackle.
Yeah.
Now start going for the guard, start going for other positions. Then on defense, you need help at safety. You need this draft to me is tight end and cornerback heavy. So if you want to go corner, if you want to go pass rusher, I don't know. I really do think that this might be a good draft, like you said, to get a quarterback. But if they don't, the Seahawks could literally help themselves out by being able to grab something else and being able to help form their defense. But this is going to be an interesting. This is going to be really interesting.
Yeah. And then last thing is like the one thing you got me thinking was like a lot of people were bringing this up before the whole moving parts with the quarterbacks. Like there's no middle tier money for the quarterbacks, and that's why I was thinking like I honestly started laughing when Daniel Jones reports came out about like 45 million. I started thinking about it. It sounds right, because there is no middle tier to go off of. That's why Derek Carr, Geno Smith, Daniel Jones eventually will get paid. And what else can you do? Because that's still like top 15 money, and they are around that range.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. All right, Gilbert, it's time to go to Compas on the NFL. Gilbert, what was your biggest takeaway from the NFL scouting combine?
Yeah, I was getting ahead of myself there. But yes, I'm all in on the Anthony Richardson. I guess what do they call him? A project experience there. And then people were comparing Anthony Richardson to Cam Newton. I saw Dante Culpepper comparisons, and then I get it. Like when you're out there in shorts and nobody's attacking you, and you look good, and but just to have all the physical tools, the size, the athleticism, the rocket arm, like it kind of like I always go this way, Fernando. But I know there's a bunch of guys who fit the prototype of the special quarterbacks that also fail. But I keep going to go back to the guys who took a chance on Justin Herbert, chance on Josh Allen. You took a chance on Patrick Mahomes. What do they all have? Size, speed, athleticism, rocket arm. Like maybe this guy could figure it out. Anthony Richardson. My only concern with Anthony Richardson is like, he was in an SSE program, big time program. You got all the resources you want. You got good coaching. I don't know about the Florida team. Maybe they weren't that good this year. I forget it. But you have everything you want in terms of development, and he's not far along as being a polished passer. That's my one red flag. But if you find the right fit, you land somewhere that somebody's going to treat you right, take care of you, don't rush you. I could definitely see somebody taking a chance on Anthony Richardson. And I don't know what you think, Fernando, but when you say all the skills and you think about Herbert and Mahomes and Allen and how these guys paid off, why not take the gamble? Take a chance.
Gilbert,
Let me have it.
If I was him, you know where I would want to go?
I want to say Detroit.
Washington.
Oh, why?
Eric Bieniemy was there when all that stuff happened with Patrick Mahomes. You saw the way he developed.
You became a Bieniemy fan out of nowhere. I like it.
After I heard why exactly some people don't like him. Hey, if you're gonna MF people, I'm all for you. If you're gonna give it the way it deserves to be given, then yeah, hold players accountable. I'm with it. I wish Eric Bieniemy would have MF some of these grades that I saw for. Well, we'll get into grades later, but Anthony Richardson is an interesting guy. The thing is that you have to go to a team. Well, you know what? Washington doesn't even have a starting quarterback. He needs to go somewhere where he's gonna sit. There's nowhere else that I see where he's gonna sit, and they're gonna let him just do his thing. He has to sit, man. He needs a Detroit. You know what? Detroit would be a good one. The only thing is, can they develop a quarterback? That's true. Detroit's 18, so they'd be behind. But like a team where he can sit and he can watch and he can see everything, that's gonna be good for him, my opinion. But I just don't know what. Detroit is 6,
number 6, and the reason why I feel good about that. They have 2 first-round picks. You strike out maybe on Richardson, you can still draft a guy who could help you out in the first round.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree. The only thing is that I'm just interested in. I hope this kid isn't Trey Lance. Well, and Trey Lance isn't Trey Lance yet.
I feel like it's
not a bust yet.
Soon, but I get what you're saying.
But that's what I mean. Like, I hope it's not. Oh, we fell in love with him because if his athleticism missed that.
You're right.
Let me ask you a question though, and I don't want to come off as anything. Like, I hope this doesn't sound malicious. But let's just say he goes in as a quarterback, he doesn't do well, and it's just not going. Kind of Tim Tebow-esque. And in year 3, they ask him, "Dude, why don't you switch over to tight end or switch?" Would you consider that, or do you think your ego would get to you? Like, I remember Tim Tebow year 3 was asked, "Dude, switch over to tight end. You'd be way better." He decided not to, and then his career kind of flamed out. What do you think?
Honestly, if you gave it your best shot and you got a fair shake and it's been 3 or 4 years and you got to change position, why not? Forget your ego. And Fernando, I forget, maybe he's a bad example. Stewart, he was a quarterback, right?
He was a quarterback, and then he ended up doing some stuff at receiver, and he ended up playing really well. Antoine Randall was a receiver.
That's the other one.
But then he obviously became
I want to say
Julian Edelman. Ryan Tannehill. He was a receiver.
Yeah, wide receiver, quarterback the other way. Logan Thomas from the Commanders
from
was
Washington.
A quarterback. Now he's a tight end. So you see it, and when you have that much like potential as an athlete, why not? Give it a shot. But
it's better than going to the XFL or the CFL or the WW whatever FL out there, the USFL.
And the crazy thing about it too, like, he's so athletic, but he has a body to withstand like these hits. Like Josh Allen is like I wish he would throw more, Josh Allen, but he's a truck and he doesn't get hit. Same thing with Cam Newton, is not as polished. Well, wasn't as polished as Josh Allen as a thrower, but he was a monster, and that's what made him different. Lamar Jackson is athletic, but he's a little slim. There. But I feel like we have more
designed runs. By the way,
go ahead.
Buffalo needs to stop with those designs.
For sure. Josh Allen's a good quarterback, but that could be another topic for another day. But when you have so many things to offer, why not take a chance? And it sounds like we're on the same page. And surprisingly, I thought you weren't going to be on the same page, but here we are.
No. I hope the kid develops. I think he'd be good, but I just think he needs to go to a play somewhere where Eric Bieniemy or an offensive mind that's going to be able to help him maybe develop. I just want to see somewhere where they're going to help with his talents.
One more thing, Fernando. The only thing that's concerning about waiting and being a project is like, we were there when Justin Herbert got drafted by the Chargers, and Anthony Lynn wanted to wait a whole year. And the cries and the screams about playing your first round pick, I still
remember Joey Bosa. Yeah, man, that kid's amazing. I can't wait for him to be our starter. You still have Tyrod. Oh yeah, Tyrod. Yeah. But we can't wait till Justin's our starter.
But that's the funny thing.
They were amazed.
When you get good reviews like that, it's like, okay, you got to play this guy. But when you're not hearing anything coming out the locker room, then that kind of tells you like Trey Lance a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, we'll see. Gilbert, in my opinion, I think the we need to change the NFL the combine. I know it's all for clicks and for this and for that. To me, none of those workouts mean anything. I think it's more about those are more for show. And poor guy from USC tore his ACL doing workouts, which definitely sucks. But I would love to see like 7-on-7, like trying to see if these quarterbacks can deal with cover 2, cover 3. Can they do different things like that? But then you put the receivers and the cornerbacks at risk, all that stuff. I get it, but at the same time, I mean, I just wish they could do a little bit more with it. But I mean, I just wish that we could see a little bit more and learn a little bit more about these guys, see what they know on the field, because you can't do it either at their pro day because they're not going to risk injury or any of that. But I just wish we could see a little bit more change and some stuff change at the combine, because it's just it's really just some of those workouts are just dumb in my opinion. Because I remember hand size. Well, there was people that said that the arm size of Rashawn Slater's bad, and look at him, he ended up being an all-pro. Like that some of that stuff to me is just
Bryce Young being really small supposedly.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wish they would change some stuff, to be completely honest.
Yeah, no, I agree, because honestly, like, if it's not the quarterbacks, I really don't care. Like, maybe I do like the 40-yard dash, but that's because maybe I ran track and I like to see those numbers there. But what do they really mean? Like, if you're not running a route, are you able to kind of like take a hit and things like that? You know how to read a defense. Like, Keenan always says, like, he knows how to find the little soft spots to break and maneuver. And can you do that on a 40-yard dash? It's not really a thing there. So
I completely agree.
It's different, but I get it. It's for the NFL. It's the whole show there.
Yep.
But besides quarterback and the dash, I really don't care.
Yep. Gilbert, you are now the general manager of the Chicago Bears. Congratulations.
Thanks. That's going to be a hard job, but thank you.
Most experts believe that they should trade down a couple of spots, add some extra draft picks, and choose Jalen Carter or somebody like that. Obviously, things have changed now with Carter and being booked and released on reckless driving and racing charges last Wednesday. By the way, some people are making excuses. Well, was he the driver? Doesn't matter, dude. He was in it. There was some reckless stuff that happened, obviously.
It's a bad look.
But Gilbert, what would you do if you were the Bears general manager? Are you keeping it? Are you drafting a quarterback, or are you trading down?
It's tough because it's such an awkward draft, Fernando. We're like, okay, you didn't fall in love with a quarterback, and you're saying, okay, we're cool with Justin Fields for another year. Let's see it out. So you want to build the rest of the roster. But the only problem with this draft round, where people have been telling me, because I'm not the expert here, people have told me there's only like maybe 3 guys you really want to go out for in the first round. It's like it's Will Anderson from Alabama. I want to say Tyree Wilson from Texas A&M. I forget his last name. I'm terrible.
Yeah.
And then Jalen Carter, but now he's like not really an option. Are you gonna risk it on a top 10 pick for Jalen Carter? Like, and the rest of the guys are kind of like just guys. They could do well, but they're not surefire things. So if you're the Bears and you want a surefire thing, you want to help out Justin Fields, maybe with a defensive player or whatever, and you're trying to trade back. Well, you got Arizona number 3, because Arizona still believes in Kyler Murray. They might take your Will Anderson. They might take your Tyree from Texas A&M, and it's tough. So you want to get more draft picks. I get it. But if you fall in love with one of these pass rushers and you're afraid somebody might take them, if you go back to number 4 with the Colts or whatever, because Arizona might beat you, or you fall back to Atlanta, the Raiders, whatever it is, it's risky. So I say seriously consider it, but you got to be happy with maybe the 3 guy on your list, just in case things don't work out.
You have to love one of these 3 guys. If you don't love one of these 3 guys, then you stay and you pick whoever you want. But if you love all 3 of these guys, then drop down, let Arizona, obviously the quarterbacks are going to be chosen probably 1 and 2. Let somebody choose, let Arizona have their picking, and then you pick whoever you want after that. But these guys have 100 million over the cap. They have a lot of cap space. I think they're going to go get Orlando Brown Jr., put him as a left tackle. I think they're going to fix their offensive line. They need to get Justin Fields more weapons. You need more draft picks. Why don't you load up on draft picks? In the next 2 years, you could have a crap ton of draft picks to help this team, to help Justin Fields. To me, the kid out of Notre Dame, that receiver, the one that they traded for from Pittsburgh, I don't think he's that. I don't think he's all that. I think they need to get him better. Claypool. They need to get him better weapons.
They wasn't a good pickup. They gave up a second round pick for that.
Really? Okay, yeah, no. Yeah, I wouldn't have given up a second round draft pick for that. No. It just, they need to do better, but I would trade down, definitely. I'm trading down, and I'm going and getting
Fernando real quick. I think I said Texas A&M, but it was Texas Tech, and it is Tyree Wilson. So
okay, cool.
Correction on my part.
Gilbert, history shows that trading up for a quarterback in the top 5 of the draft this past decade has not worked. Sam Darnold, 2018. What? Rams 2016 Jared Goff. What? Eagles 2016 Carson Wentz. Can we count Carson Wentz? They won a Super Bowl because of Carson Wentz.
No.
49ers 2021 with Trey Lance, and the Bears with Mitchell Trubisky. That 2017. There's gonna be in a couple of years. There's gonna be a 30 for 30 on. It's gonna be called Mitchell because obviously they decided not to go. Well, Deshaun Watson has his own thing, but then Patrick Mahomes there, and they didn't go get him. But Gilbert, should teams like the Colts, Texans, Panthers, and Raiders trade up to select their quarterback? If so, who? Which team and for who?
No, not seeing that list, it makes me kind of like, okay, maybe just wait for your guy to fall for you. The only one I will say to do it is the Colts, because your rival, the Texans, are ahead of you, and you want them to take your number one quarterback option, like especially in the division. Like, you're seeing Bryce Young playing against you twice a year, and then you could have had the guy if you would have traded with the Bears. So I say make an exception for divisional kind of purposes, but it is scary to trade up, and it takes a lot of capital too to trade up. Because like for Trey Lance, I want to say the 49ers gave up 2 first-round picks.
Yeah,
like they had a swap and a couple first-rounders.
Three.
And it's not paying off, but like they seem to find quarterbacks wherever they want, so it's okay. But that's the only exception. After that, like you wait for like a Anthony Richardson to fall for you, because a lot of people might wait. I don't know.
Say that the Colts trade up to 1. Could they go Anthony Richardson number 1? Especially with what Shane Steichen has done with the Herbert, with the Jalen Hurts. Could they go now? Could they stun everybody and go number 1 Anthony Richardson? That'd be crazy.
That draft, the 2020, is a perfect example. Like, Tua is a small dude, and like he has limitations, but could read the defense, could get the ball out quick, knows how to run an offense. But he's not this juggernaut like Justin Herbert or even like a Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's not a massive dude, but
there's rumors that Miami's thinking about bringing Tom Brady in. They don't they don't believe in that guy.
Well, let me ask you, Fernando, if you are the Colts and you trade up to number 1, besides Tom Brady, who do you want? Anderson or Bryce Young? The size and all that.
I don't like Bryce. Bryce Young, I think he's a good quarterback, but you know what's crazy? Him and CJ Stroud have been competing for years.
They did pretty well. That's another.
They're from LA. Yeah, they're from LA. They're both from LA. They both grew up going to opposite schools and everything. They've been competing for years, and now they're competing to see which one's going to be drafted top. That's crazy. I don't know, dude. I don't know which one I want. I think I need to see a little bit more, but I just wouldn't put it past Shane Steichen and go get Anthony Richardson and say, you know what, I'm going to develop this kid. Watch, not this year, next year, this kid's going to be a superstar. He's going to be the next big thing. We're going to get him weapons. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. I just wouldn't put it past Shane Steichen, especially with the kind of owner he has that takes years in the bathroom and kisses off Mrs. McDaniels. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't go up and get Anthony Richardson. I'm telling you, you know what's funny? People talk about the movie Draft Day. The owner that strikes me as the owner from the Draft Day is Jim Irsay. Like, exactly, I want a splash. Give me a splash. So I think this is going to be. I think if the Colts jump up to number 1 and they get Anthony Richardson, I think everybody's going to be stunned, and the draft is just going to go loopy after that. It's going to be nuts. I'm all for that, though.
What if CJ Stroud, like, he's in the middle? He's more polished. He's bigger. Obviously, doesn't have the crazy arm like Richardson. What if CJ Stroud's like Joe Burrow of the draft? You don't want that?
They should go get him. I mean, if it's whoever they believe, but I just think that for some reason people aren't talking that much about CJ Stroud. They're talking about him having a good combine, but they're not really saying much about him when it comes to. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what's gonna happen there, but But Gilbert, it's now time to go to a cowboy who obviously we never know what's gonna come out of his mouth, but we're excited when it does. Let's go to Dan and Daygo now.
You are back here with your boy, Dan and Daygo. Just to remind you of a few simple things. Do not forget to check out our other shows. You already know on the Compas on the Beat Network, we are expanding. Don't forget, we got House of Horns. What? A show about the Rams. We got What's Up, Bolts. What? Obviously about the Chargers. We got Combat Compas. What? Do not forget at Super Bowl Radio Row in Arizona. Do not forget a Super Bowl Radio Row light heavyweight champion, Jamal Hill, sat down with your compas. Do not forget also, the guy who runs AEW, the Jaguars, and everything else, the legend himself, Tony Khan, sat down with us at Super Bowl Radio Row. That was an interesting conversation. Do not forget to check those out on Combat Compas. We also, if you love everything about the Champions League, on the other side of the pond, what they call football,
Do not forget to check out Compas FC. It is about to get electric because the Champions League and all the other leagues are starting to heat up. Do not forget to check us out on all our social medias. We got at Compas on the Beat on the Instagrams. What? We got Twitter at Compas OTB. The OTB is capital. What? We got the TikToks at Compas on the Beat. We are everywhere. We are expanding. Thank you all for getting on this wagon and enjoying the ride. But let's get back to the program.
Gilbert, obviously, always a laugh, always a kick when Dad and Daygo is on there. All right, Gilbert, it's time for Rapid Fire. One day we are gonna have fire coming out. Exactly. Gilbert, something or nothing. The NFL player team report cards were released by the NFL Players Association. 1,300 players participated in the survey, which means that it's obviously more than just the players on the team. It was probably practice squad and guys that were obviously in and out of teams this year. So it was between March 1st and April 1st, 2022. Some of the survey questions included treatment of families, weight room, nutrition, strength coaches, training room, training staff, locker room, and team travel. Gilbert, what did you make of this? Do you think it's a good idea for obviously these surveys to be taken?
Yeah, no, I like it because then it forces teams to do better. You don't want to be like the Cardinals getting Fs across the board and doing terrible and not helping the families of the players and terrible facility. Like some Ravens players were mad at the strength coaches in Baltimore because like saying those guys cost my career. I was like, man, like that maybe it just makes you change things up. And obviously the LA teams were terrible there in the rankings, but like I get it. Part of it was like they're in a temporary facility. They're gonna move. And they move to their Woodland Hills or Segundo areas, and they're still bad, then that's a problem. But I think it's eye-opening, and I kind of like it. Why not?
You know what? I saw 7 teams still do not offer first-class accommodations for flying to games and stuff. I saw 6 teams or 4 teams make their players pay for food at the facility. It's crazy. I mean, leave it to millionaires to complain about free stuff and this and that. No, I'm just kidding. But I thought it was. I honestly thought it was really interesting.
You're siding with the owners, right?
Some of these great. No, I don't side with them. I side more with the player. Hey, those guys have enough stuff to be hooking up. The Bucs were one of the teams that surprised me. Tom Brady would go there. They didn't have first class flights for players, so that's pretty interesting there.
Maybe he has a private coach on a special team like Russell Wilson. Who knows?
There you go. And he's up there doing his high knees and everything on the flight, and he's working out while everybody's sleeping. He's the one working out. Gilbert, something or nothing. The top three in the reports were the Vikings, the Raiders, and the Dolphins, while the bottom teams were the Commanders, the Cardinals, and the Chargers. Well, yeah, what's name is eating at In-N-Out so that the players can eat well at his facility.
I think for the Raiders, it's more like once a Raider, always a Raider. Like they care about stuff like that. It makes it feel part of like a frat, or whatever, some kind of club, and it's good for them. But it's something like it matters. You want to feel like special. Like I saw like a video on TikTok of some player. I want to say a player on the Cardinals, which sounds about right now. Saying that he has to pay for his helmet to keep his helmet in his jersey. So yeah, like come on, it's
you saw Taylor Lewan got his stuff left at the front door of his house, like if he was just a whatever player.
I don't know, like some people need to hang out at these 5-star resorts, and they make you feel special. Like you want to have that when you make it to the NFL, right?
Man, the Cardinals, they just surprised me, man, with all those Fs and everything. I think the Chargers, the only thing that they did well was the coaching staff, which obviously they like Brandon Staley, and then the strength and conditioning, I think, was fine. Other than that, everything else was like Fs and stuff. And it's just, it's just great. I don't think it's anything, but it's just teams need to step up, obviously. And Dolphins, I mean, you're in South Beach. I think they're taking into consideration everything that South Beach has to offer there. So definitely, and Minnesota, congratulations. They number 1 team. I never would have picked Minnesota, to be honest.
What the thing about it, if you live in the freaking cold and it's not a good place to be at, and you got to lure free agents, you got to make the other small things count.
Do you think they have lockers that are like they heating lockers where they sit in their locker and they heat them up and everything? With all the cold.
There's times where I walk into a locker, I'm like, these are nice. And there's other times like, okay. So it's big differences.
Exactly. Gilbert, something or nothing, the timing of the Jalen Carter arrest warrant being the day of his most important job interview.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I never know when these things come out. Like, I'm sure they come out for a reason. It's weird timing, and like right before his combine interview came out, and supposedly he was in Indy, so he probably got caught off guard and he had to go back and forth, and it was weird. But the thing, Mike, the bigger question to me is like, who's gonna take a chance on him? Like, obviously, I think Dan Jeremiah of NFL Network ranked him as his #1 prospect out of what 100 prospects, and he's your best player on the board. Where is he gonna fall? You know, somebody's gonna take a chance on him, but I'm like, if you're in the top 10 or whatever, 15, do you really want to invest a pick on a guy like that who has some question marks? I don't know.
I think somebody's going to take a chance on him, especially if he's as
Top
good
10,
as people think
15?
he is. Oh yeah, if he's as good as he is, then yeah. I remember Laramie Tunsil, the gas mask thing showed up before the draft and everything. He did dip, but
but it's different. Like if you're smoking weed to being in a crime scene.
Driving, this is really bad. But I mean, we'll see what happens. But the timing of this is obviously interesting because it was a day of. That was really weird too.
Something there, yeah.
Exactly. Gilbert, should the tush push made famous by the Eagles by having Jalen Hurts rugby style QB sneak be banned by the NFL this offseason or in the near future?
This might be my favorite question of the week. It's a bunch of sour grapes from people who don't know how to block or execute. Like, shout out to the Eagles for finding a loophole and just making it your thing, because this has been around for forever. And some quarterbacks are afraid to do it. They don't know how to perfect it, and the Eagles did it. And all of a sudden, they see it working, and all the sour grapes are saying, "You got to change the rule." No, get out of here. Keep it going.
I think I don't think it's because of that. I think they're doing it because they don't want the NFL to be boring, to turn into that. They want it to be high flying, this, that. I bet you any smart offensive mind could run so many plays out of that formation, plays that'll trip out the opposing team. Like right there, Jalen Hurts could pull it back and could do a lot of different things with that football. So I think it's stupid. I think it's just the NFL another way of making the not so fun league. I think that's interesting. I think they added a different dynamic to their offense, and for them to be wanting to take it away, to me is just I just can't believe it. It's really
been around, Fernando, and teams have not figured it out. So I don't
exactly. So to me,
it's team that figure it out. Whatever.
Yep. Gilbert, is Carson Wentz the most expensive player in NFL history? So far in his career, he's earned $128.7 million with a 46-46-1 record. He cost the Eagles, Colts, and Commanders a combined 9 draft picks, including 3 first-round draft picks in the 8th, the 12th, and the 17th in 3 different drafts.
So you're saying most expensive in terms of like
money and
time, time for sure.
Exactly.
It's such a, I guess you could say that he's up there, like, you know, in terms of having 3 cracks at it: the Eagles, the Colts, and the Commanders. I don't remember a quarterback getting that many chances and being like I think it was a first-round pick. The Commanders gave up a first-round pick to get him. I don't get at that point why he's a first-round pick. I said it from the start. I'll credit myself there. I don't know why. But yeah, I don't get why these teams go for these fringe average quarterbacks just to kind of save them. It's kind of like, it's like you try to say something like, okay, you like, it's like in the movie Creed. They show you your colors and you got to listen to them. And Carson Wentz is not a guy, and he's really expensive, but we'll see what happens to him. Supposedly he's been out in Indy eating food, and now he's interested in coming back.
But like, do you even want him as a backup? Like, that's just I don't even want him as a backup. Like, for what?
Supposedly he was a good teammate in Washington. He had some mixed results in Indy.
Yeah, and he had some mixed results in Philly as well. I don't know if I want him as a backup, but yes, I think he is the most expensive player probably in NFL history with all that money and all that draft capital they've given up. Jesus. Gilbert, should the Lions draft a quarterback at 6 or take the best player available?
Definitely. We've already touched on this, and I think that the Detroit Lions are a good spot for Anthony Richardson. Again, I love what I saw at the combine. Again, he's just in shorts throwing dimes and bombs away. But if you can see the tools and you let him sit, and Dan Campbell, good coach, right? I've been saying it, right? I don't remember if I have. Dan Campbell, maybe give him a chance, develop the QB for 2 years, and why not? That's a good place to sit. And then it's worse to gamble because, again, like you mentioned, Fernando, they have pick number 18. You find a starter in that pick too.
DeAndre Swift, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, even Jamal Williams, the running back. You have a lot of young pieces there that could develop, that a young quarterback could use in the future. I really do like that Detroit Lions offense. I feel like in a year, Richardson could be that starter that takes over, and he could have a plethora of shout out. There you go, vocabulary. A plethora of weapons that could really help him develop into a quarterback. Like I told you, Gilbert, a lot of these guys are 5-star athletes that come out that have the 5-star offensive line, 5-star receivers, 5-star running backs. They get to the NFL and it's like 1 stars, 2 stars, 3 stars. It's different stuff. Here he could have a really good. And then you have Penei Sewell blocking as your right tackle, and you have a good offensive line
underrated. That's
exactly. So I'm with it. Gilbert, it's time to play start, bench, or cut. NFL free agency, NFL draft, and NFL combine. So list these as the events that you like the most.
Oh man, that's just tough. Well, like free agency, you're not going anywhere, right? Like that should be kind of a factor.
Is it us covering these events, or is it us like okay, it's us covering these events.
All right, fine. I'm gonna start free agency because you get to be in your home, and then like you get to see a lot of moving parts very quickly. It's a good little frenzy there. And then I will go combine number 2 just because I like to see old people and hang out and eat in Indy and the whole vibe there. And the covering the thing so much is it's a grind going to the podium interviews every single day.
By the way, how are your nostrils?
Oh yeah, and you get to eat shrimp at 8 in the morning, and your nostrils go up. And then I'll go to the draft last because actually I don't think I've ever covered NFL draft, so I don't know. So I will cut them.
Okay, I would start the NFL combine. Ooh. I would cut the draft, and I would bench free agency. We have to work way too hard on the other 2. I'd rather something chill like the combine, where you do work, but you get to have fun. You get to play as well. So I'm all about fun. I'm all about playing. I'm all about working. So I think the combine, you get to meet so many different people. You get to see all your old friends from different teams. So I'm all about that. I like that. So I'm all about that.
We're cutting the draft. No more new players.
No, well, yeah, but I like it. But at the same time, it's like, okay, like I want
after round 1, right? It gets pretty tedious.
Exactly. I want something different. So I'm definitely all about that. But it's time. Vic, how you doing?
I'm doing good. You guys had a nice rapid fire there. It was really good to hear you guys.
This week, I see.
Huh?
Oh, no Sacco.
No Sacco this time. We're going. It was a one time thing.
All right, it's a one-time thing. Look at his excitement. He's happy to see me. He's happy to see me. Contrary to your belief, this man is happy to see me. Don't ask me how I'm doing, Frau. I'm having a bad day, Doug. Name that movie line in the comments if you can. Name the movie. I hate technology.
Don't shout so loud because you're breaking up with your cheap headphones or whatever microphone.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm so sorry, everybody who's listening.
Thank you.
Your boy Dan and Daygo hates 3 things: math, science, and technology. I'm terrible at all 3 of them. I'm struggling. I'm on the struggle bus over here.
What a nice person apologizing to the listeners.
I'm having a bad day, Doug. Name the movie. That way you could hear it normal. All right. So obviously, a big takeaway from over the weekend was the NFL scouting combine. Vic, what was your biggest takeaway from it?
I'm going to talk about Dan Campbell, and I think he summarized it best with the quote that he had. He said, "You grade them off tape. You don't grade them off somebody out here in pajamas." And, when I first started watching the combine back in the day, one of the things that really stood out and one of the players that broke out was what was his name now? I'm blanking on his name right off the top, but he played for the Eagles. Mike Mamula. He was drafted number 7. He killed it at the combine, and he shot up the draft board. He was supposed to be a 3rd, 4th round pick coming into the combine. Next thing you know, he gets drafted number 7 by the Philadelphia Eagles because of that, and it turns out to be a bust. I think we make too big of a deal with the combine. You should look at the tape. Someone that you guys were talking about is CJ Stroud. I was really impressed with what he did, and it had nothing to do with his numbers. It was the way he, what he showed on tape is the same thing he did at the combine. he was putting those passes right on the money where they needed to be. And he's been the one guy. If I'm the Raiders, and you guys talked about if you're gonna trade up, you trade up for CJ Stroud. Like he's the one guy I would go and get out of this draft. He has the size. He's got, the passing ability that you want, as you guys have talked about with guys like Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. He's in that same mold. So that was my biggest takeaway.
Wow. CJ, you got Devontae down there. You just throw it up to him. Get him. Dan,
wait, real quick, Victor.
Nobody's like the son of Odin.
Better than Bryce Young, you're saying, if you had the option number one?
Well, as you guys explained, he's a smaller quarterback, and we've seen, how they don't translate in the NFL, and they can be successful here and there, but like I'll probably need to do the research. But who's been the smallest QB to win the Super Bowl? Is it Drew Brees
and Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson
is shorter than him.
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't happen a lot, guys. So
Russell Wilson's thick. He's thick with it. So he's got So
and your boy Kyler Murray too, Dan, and Daygo, he's thick.
No! Don't you put that filth in trash with me? I knew it from the beginning.
But the thing with me is, like, dude, you have to be realistic. If your offensive line is bad, I might not go for Bryce Young. Like, be realistic about your offensive line as well. Like, you're gonna need to protect this guy, and maybe more than most, because he's not going to be able to take that beating. But, I mean, we'll see. Dan, what was your takeaway from the Combine?
My takeaway from the NFL Combine, I'm going to echo a little bit what was already said. I think really it's worthless. Like, to me, if I was a coach, if I was a GM, I don't give a rat's ass what a 40 time is, because he's running there, like Vic said, or like Dan Campbell said, in pajamas. He's just chilling. All they have to do is perform. Like, I saw a drill of running backs just going around little pads and then running up to 3 bigger pads, and these idiots are just holding it and they move it one way and the runner has got to go the other way. Like, what does that show to me? Like, I don't know. Call me old fashioned. I would only grade the tape. I don't think the draft or the Combine does diddly squat for me. I don't care about these guys hanging out drinking Mai Tais in Indy, running around in Lucas Oil Stadium just chilling. It doesn't do anything for me.
Real quick, Dan, I'm gonna give you a shout out because I like to plug my stories, and I also want to give you an assist. You helped me out on my top 50 free agents. Ding me every time I say that. There was a lot of linemen on there, and I needed help to watch the tape because you're a tape grinder and you coach offensive linemen. And Dan, one thing you kept mentioning was like, yeah, Orlando Brown Jr. is good, he's massive, but he has a lot of flaws. And we kept talking about, well, it is weird that the Chiefs don't want to pay him. They keep giving him 1 year deals, and you got to prove it. He's made Pro Bowls since he's been there, and for some reason they don't want to commit. There's something there, and I think you noticed it, Dan. And now for him not to get the franchise tag, maybe they feel like they're close on a long-term deal. That's why, you know what, forget the franchise, we're gonna get it done. But it's just something concerning there. I know we got to move on real quick, but give me your thoughts on why there might be some kind of hesitation in KC for Orlando Brown Jr.
I think my thing with Orlando Brown Jr., we were talking about this, I think what helps him a lot is his size. Like, his size makes it hard enough for these edge rushers to get around him to begin with, so he doesn't need to rely on his technique a lot. And Frown mentioned it earlier before we even jumped on. They have Wiley coming up. They have Creed Humphrey coming up. They have Tooney coming up. And in my mind, if anything, the Chiefs are kind of thinking to themselves, you know what? We need to go. I think number one, Creed Humphrey is the most important one you have to secure in my mind. I think Orlando Brown has a lot of, like, obviously if you can get him cheap, I would keep him and try and develop him even more. But it's like we talked about. His technique was off to me. I thought he relies too much on his size. And that's why sometimes, against good pass rushers, and you saw it a few times in the Super Bowl, but I mean, Patrick Mahomes just got rid of it quick, and Andy Reid's play designs are just flawless. And it's like a lot of times what would happen, or sometimes what would happen, is that they'd get under his shoulder pads because he thinks, like, with his size, nobody's going to be able to try and size him up like that. And it's like, if he would just sit down, squat, get under his shoulder pads, like, no one would ever move him. And it's like, I think sometimes that's what he's lacking. He relies too much on his size instead of fundamentals and technique.
The expert, Dan and Daygo, in the trenches.
I love offensive linemen.
It's time.
Did I sound weird or no?
The Paul Bearer.
By the way, 10-year anniversary of Paul Bearer, R.I.P. 10-year anniversary of him passing.
I
saw that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, oh my God, like 10 years.
I saw that
already?
on Twitter.
That's crazy. But it's time for burial of the week. Vic, why don't you kick it off for us?
All right, I'm gonna be the omen in here today again. I went to go see Creed 3 and had to sit through 30 minutes of movie trailers. I want to get to the movie. I don't want to watch all these trailers. I can go on YouTube and watch them. There's no reason, especially if you're someone like Disney who has Marvel and Star Wars and all those movies coming out. There's no reason for you to be putting out like 10 trailers before I get to my movie. Like, we were sitting there. It was like we had a 9:30 showing, and it's already 10 o'clock, and everybody in the movie theater kept looking at their watch, and it was like, when is the movie going to start? We're here to watch Creed 3 and just waiting around, But yeah, that's my burial, man. Like, we need to cap movie trailers, when you go to the movie theaters.
And that's why Fernando and Dan and Daygo finished their damn popcorn before the movie even starts.
Exactly.
That's
a damn problem.
Dan and I and little Daniel and Melissa, when we go, we literally show, like, if the movie's at 7:30, we show up at like 7:45, buy our snacks, and we're sitting around. But the problem is, we go through the movie theater and we're like, "Hey, idiot, get off me! Hey, dumbass, this!" And like, people are like getting mad because they can hear us trying to get in through the movie theater. But hey, the movie hasn't started yet.
By the way, quick story, because I went to go watch Creed, and like, I get it's cool to have your seats assigned and you get a number, but there's always some idiot that can't read the seat number and like, "Hey, you're in my seat
down there."
But real quick, I've never had this before. Real quick, I had never had this before. We're like an hour and 50 minutes into Creed 3. The film was almost over. These two people walk in like, "I think you're in my seat." So I'm like, at that point, get the hell out of here. The movie's over. Go find seats somewhere else. 2 hours. I'm not kidding. It was weird.
That is annoying.
Bro, it's the same thing as these idiots who show up after the first quarter of football games. Get the hell out of here.
It's my seat now.
Yeah, for real.
Dan, what's your burial of the week?
My burial of the week, the real one, should be damn Tim Cook and this technology he's got on me that doesn't even work when I need it to work. But my burial of the week is this. I have said this many weeks in a row. And let me tell you something, my keyboard warriors out there, my friends, my haters. I do not care if this upsets you. But this is my thing. I'm going to bury the Seattle Seahawks. In my mind, why are you going to commit? What did we end up saying? It was $35 million a year to this man.
3 years, $105 million.
Why are you going to commit that much money to this man when, like I get it. He had like 30 touchdowns in the season. He had 4,000 yards throwing. But it's like, for what? Just to be competitive in the first half of a divisional or wild card round in the playoffs, and that's it? Like, in my mind, I don't see it. Like, I've said this before and I'll say it again. If I'm going to commit that much money to one person, one player in an organization, it better be, gosh dang, Joe Montana reincarnate, Tom Brady reincarnate, Joe Burrow, one of these guys. Like, if it's not, I'm going to move on. I don't know why they didn't try and, I can't remember. I think Cooper Rush is a free agent, or if not, you could probably trade him for nothing, a washer machine or something like that, and just bring him over. And
Cooper Rush is going to be your backup quarterback.
That's fine with me. At least he'll complete a pass when he comes on the field, Frau. We got guys getting paid who can't complete a pass. What's going on? Comes onto the field and misses all 3. What the hell are we doing right now? It's unbelievable. But that's my thing. Get a guy who's high percentage, intelligent, and that's all you need. You don't need these 35 mils just to lose in the first round and not be competitive.
I think Dan likes my idea of getting Jacoby Brissett much cheaper to New Orleans instead of Derek Carr. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, for what? Like, really? What's Derek Carr going to do for you? You already saw what he did with the Raiders.
You're going to get him going.
You think Derek Carr's going to continue the trend of high draft?
Gilbert, go ahead.
Let me do one more. One more. $105 million, and you have to pick one quarterback, but these 3 quarterbacks, Dan, Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, Derek Carr, who you paying?
Geno Smith, Daniel Jones. You know what? Seriously, and I know this is going to hurt me. I might take Daniel Jones just because he's younger. He's a little bit more mobile, and I feel like there's more upside to there if you have a run game going. I would take Daniel Jones over Carr and Smith.
There
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a little bit more upside. I would never want to pay $45 million for this joker. Yeah. That's for sure. His ass can stay in New York.
But yeah, that's a perfect example of the QB market that you pay for the promising young guy. But there you go.
But but that's what I'm saying though. It's like, why panic just to lose in the first round? Why? And have a high draft pick anyway.
Don't Hispanic.
Here? Yeah, okay. My turn. It's what did I have? Oh yeah, you guys have a bunch better ones than I do, but all right, it's Indy. Being at the combine, being in Indy, people keep trying to move it. And when I say people, the executives in NFL, the league offices in LA or New York, they want to move the combine away from Indy. And I live in LA. It'd be nice to have it in LA, but no, it doesn't belong in LA. Keep it in Indy.
Super Bowl was, bro?
Dude, I didn't. The only time I took an Uber in Indy was to get to the airport. Everything else, I walked. I even walked like at 2 a.m. after leaving Prime 47. It was like half a mile block. Like I had the cheap hotel. People were in the nice one. I still walked. It's not that far. You can go have dinner. You can even go catch a game because the Pacers are right there in the area. Go to Lucas Oil. Go to White Castle like I always do. Get my burgers there.
Yeah, this time
I went again. Because it's right there. You can even go to a different room that I don't want to talk about. You can even go to a breakfast spot. So keep it in Indy. Stop trying to move it. And I wish my beer was better than you guys, but you guys have good ones too.
I am burying the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, all right.
Surprising. What you guys did is a terrible thing last year. Giving Deshaun Watson that contract. That guaranteed contract, you screwed a lot of teams out of it. Now you have guys like, Lamar Jackson, who now are asking for that kind of money. Teams aren't willing to pony that up. Like, I thought what they did was irresponsible. I think Cleveland was dumb for doing that. And now they opened Pandora's box, and now everybody's going to try and get to that contract. And it's like, no, dude, that guy's an outlier. Like, I don't know for what reason they paid him all that much money, but I really am very like Cleveland just screwed the whole quarterback market up with giving them all that guaranteed money, especially. I mean, I know they had to show faith in him, but dude, you literally like, and I know a lot of owners are pissed off, a lot of GMs are pissed off, and a lot of coaches are pissed off with that contract.
I just picture a picture of Deshaun Watson in a dartboard and in John Harbaugh's room and just throwing darts like
exactly. Yeah, no,
headache with Lamar Jackson.
It has to, it has to be for sure. All right, guys, it's time for Uno Mas. So Gilbert, why don't you get us started?
Yes, for me, I am now I finished it at the perfect match finale. I saw that yesterday. And I didn't like the finale.
Absolute garbage.
Yeah, I don't want to get spoilers, but to bring back the whole old people and the new people after you spend a couple of weeks just becoming the perfect match, and we're gonna throw that away just because there's a new person that comes in and whatever. The whole point is, the winners I shouldn't say the winner. I don't want to give spoilers, but the winner should not be the winner.
No, obviously.
Yeah, there was one couple which they were boring, but they were the perfect match, and they used to fight a lot, but I wish they would fought more for the drama. But yeah, they were not the perfect match. That group I'm talking about. It's hard saying about the spoilers, but I didn't like the ending. Put it that way. And also, I was thinking because Victor does not give a crap about this. If you try to do a perfect match 2, you got to have a character like Francesca. She made the show, and I'm like, you can't really find somebody else that could do that. Maybe our boy Shake from Love Is Blind.
Oh, but I love that guy.
But he's on a hot model chick.
Dude, so, hold on. The funniest part about the whole show is Nicholas Shea didn't bring his wife out at all. Remember how they said that Shea kept on hitting on
Vanessa Lachey?
Yeah. I thought that maybe that's why they didn't bring her out here. But I honestly I thought the ending was. I thought they chose the forced couple. There's no way you can tell me that they won. Like, nobody thought they were a couple. Maybe a couple of best friends. But other than that, by the way, when Francesca said she's into trios, I was like, yo, those are so much fun. I'm like, respect to Francesca. She's like, they're better than just regular. I'm like, hey, shout out to you, Francesca.
Damon was like, oh, you're into that.
Yeah, everybody was like, on pins and needles looking at her, and they're like, does Damien even know what that's all about? And Damien
they're
just
toxic. Such a toxic show.
Big, go ahead.
Mine's gonna be the good, and I'm gonna go with Michael B. Jordan, especially after I talked about Jonathan Majors, and what I thought he was going to do, he ended up doing in Creed 3. Just shout out to Michael B. Jordan for what he did in his dictatorial debut. I mean, the storyline was really good. I won't spoil anything for you guys. I know you guys haven't seen it yet, so I'll just say this in terms of what he did. He incorporated a lot of anime stuff that he's talked about. That was his big inspiration for the fight scenes. Yeah. You'll see when you see the fight scenes, they're really, really, really well done. They're the best in the series that we've seen so far. The story, as we talked about, the storyline is really good. I thought I was gonna miss Stallone. He you know, you didn't really need him in this movie. And so just want to give a big shout out to him of what he's done with his career too. I mean, I remember seeing this scrawny little guy with braids on The Wire, and now he's turned out, not only is he a really good actor, like we had the two of the best villains in the MCU in Killmonger, Michael B. Jordan, and Kang and Jonathan Majors. So I mean, I can't wait to see what else he can do, man, because he really killed it for this. For this being his debut as a director, it was really, really good.
Shout out to Michael B. Jordan for turning that chick away at the
Yeah.
Though he's like, but I was a nerd though, right? I thought he was like, I thought he was in character because in Creed he says that a lot. Like he repeats phrases, and he's like, "But I was a nerd though, right? I was nerd boy." No, I never said that about. A lot of people were pissed that he did that. Hell, you can do whatever you want to be. Like you got played by what's her name? Go ahead and be a toxico. You got played by Steve Harvey's daughter. Don't trip, bro. You be a toxico with this chick and be like, yeah, I was a nerd boy.
I'm sure Michael B. Jordan's doing fine with the ladies, but
Victor, come out with the Compas. We'll drink about it together.
Hey, yeah, we should go out with Michael B. Jordan.
Why not? We'll treat him better on the red carpet.
But no, you're taking.
Victor, real quick, yeah, sure. If you want to go to get ladies with Michael B. Jordan, good luck, brothers, because they're all gonna be taken.
Yeah,
no, he doesn't have enough energy.
Yeah, okay, he can't have all of them, right? There you go.
Exactly.
Victor, real quick.
Down. Hey, like I said in Blue Mountain, say trickle down.
Exactly.
Victor, give us your avocado rating on the movie.
I'm gonna give it a 90. I was really impressed from start to finish on this movie. Maybe it was the fact that I came in with low expectations because I didn't know what to expect from this movie. As I've said, I was really impressed with the storyline. I think that was the biggest thing for me, was like right from the start, it's under 2 hours, and then it gets right into it. They explain why you're in this story. The first, second, and third act, they go right from 1, 2, and 3. Like there's no pacing issues in this movie, which is another thing that I really like. Like it goes from one thing, and then the chemistry between Michael B. Jordan and Creed and his wife in the movie. I mean, it continues from the first movie to this movie.
Yeah, you wouldn't know about that, Fernando and Dan, about building a relationship and building
about
community.
What? About what? About what?
About building a relationship with a partner.
I don't care about that.
You want to hang out with Michael B. Jordan at the red carpet and do things, but
hell yeah.
Real quick though, let me get mine.
I want to listen to that avocado rating right there. What's yours?
Mine? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it, but I'm gonna give it like a 82% there. Obviously, it's a green avocado. Good story, like you mentioned, Victor, and it was quick to the point, but that might have been the issue. It felt really flat at the end. I was like, that was it. Okay. I don't want to give it away too much, but it was. I really like what they developed with Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan. Because after a while, like after 3 movies, like what storyline can you come up with? And it was good, but it felt like, okay, we got something good here, and it's like, how do we top that? How do we top it as an ending? And it felt very flat. So, 82%, and also a quick shout out because people are not big boxing fans like I am. Jose Benavidez is in the movie, the brother of Dave Benavidez. He plays a heavyweight champion who's actually kind of a welterweight, so it's weird that he's a heavyweight.
In the movie?
No, I kept looking for myself in the stands, but.
Hey, can you guys pause it? Can you guys pause it?
This guy.
I told Caroline, they're at Staples Center. I'm here somewhere. We're looking for me, and I couldn't find me. But Jose Benavidez had a great little villain role. Obviously, he's not a true actor, but I think he did good for his part.
That Jake Gyllenhaal movie is going to be interesting to see if we see Adam Hill cage side somewhere in that movie.
And I'll say this one more thing about Michael B. Jordan. He made it a thing to make sure that he was the first one to introduce a Mexican boxer into the Rocky movies now, because he said that one of the things, because he was asked about having Canelo be in this movie. We see him briefly, so don't worry, I'm not ruining anything. And I thought that was very important, because we know how important Mexican American boxers are, especially in the community, and for him to make it a priority to make sure that he put a Mexican boxer in this movie was really good to see.
Well, now it makes sense. Cool. He wanted a heavyweight Mexican, but they're not any Mexican heavyweights out there. So it's the best he could do. A welterweight, Jose Benavidez, great role for him.
Shout out to you, Sylvester Stallone. I still love you.
Yeah, that's right.
Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, so this was my thing. Going on the combat sports trend. Dude, freaking Bones Jones, whatever his name is. Bones Jones, whatever his name is. Like, for that dude to be on the sofa for like 2 or 4 years or whatever it was out of the ring, and to make a champion tap out in the first round, that was freaking epic, dude. That was wild to watch. And the way, he was playing with him the whole time, too. The way he came in, he was so confident and everything else. It was absolutely epic. Like, it was amazing to watch. That absolutely is fresh avocado for me, because that was amazing to watch. The best guacamoles right there, because Gilberto hates those. So
that's the goal.
I'm gonna go with the great. I'm actually gonna shout out 2 people. One, Cristiano Ronaldo. He donated a lot of stuff, tents, homes, food, all this stuff to Turkey and Syria for the earthquake that happened a couple of weeks ago. And then KJ Osborne, Minnesota Vikings wide receiver, he saved a man from a burning car. I think either today or a couple of days ago. So shout out to him for doing that. This guy saved somebody else's life. That's incredible. Sometimes I think we don't look at we look at them as athletes. We don't look at them as people. He went in there. He saved a guy's life. So congratulations to him. Obviously, we want to end Compas on the season 3 premiere of Compas on the Beat on the high note. So I thought that was a good way to end it. But thank you guys so much. Oh, what's up?
No,
all I said was perfect.
I was gonna say a better note is, like, I want to see Ronaldo and Michael B. Jordan hanging out the Ramirez brothers out in the town. How about that?
I would die.
No, Ronaldo's taken.
Well, he can show you around the clubs. He can show you around.
Well, I mean, that's true. Hey, he was actually at the not
Tommy
Logan,
Fury
the other one.
Tommy Fury.
He was at that fight because he lives out there. But we appreciate you guys so much for spending season 3 premiere with us. We appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget to go on the Compas LA Beat video or this one. Comment below. Comment on the Compas on the LA Beat video also. And Gilbert will choose one lucky winner that will get a hoodie. Don't forget, we got from small individuals to fluffy friendly. So don't you guys worry. The Compas got you. We come in all shapes and sizes. We know that for sure. Don't forget to check out everything else. What's up, Bolts? Dan and Daygo and I break down why the Chargers do need to keep Keenan Allen, why it was smart to keep Keenan Allen, and obviously what Tom Dusko saying, he ain't going nowhere. Gilbert and Vic, the producer, on House of Horns, talk about Jalen Ramsey, Bobby Wagner, all that stuff coming up for the Rams and how they can get out of cap space hell. And obviously Compas FC, we got some good stuff cooking up this week. Champions League is back, so definitely some exciting stuff there. And we will be doing some comeback Compas leading up to Gilbert. Do we break it right now or do we wait? We wait.
Yeah, why not? We wait.
All right, we'll wait. But hey,
better,
you guys wanna tune into Comeback Compas because we got some cool stuff happening over there as well. But we appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, be a compa, tell a compa. But for the time being, Gilbert, it's John Cena time. ¿Sabes qué? Vámonos.
John Cena returns, right? We made it on time. Ya nos vamos, pues. Vámonos. Season 3.